Ayan na naman tayo mga kamets. Ayan na naman tayo mga kamets. Ito na. Sabi ko, ang haba ng araw natin guys. Nakapaglakad tayo kanina ng lampas sa 20,000 steps tayo today. Nako po talagang pinaghirapan natin itong mga videos natin kanina. Pumunta pa tayo sa Shibuya. Pumunta pa tayo sa ayan, 20,000 guys. Pumunta tayo sa kung saan umupo pa tayo, nagkape pa tayo, nag-edit pa tayo, nag-video pa tayo, lahat-lahat. Ayan, pag-post natin, konti lang yung konti lang yung nanood, etc. Di ba? Sabi ko, ito talaga yung pinaghirapan natin. Ang dami natin pinuntahan. 20,000 steps, guys. 20,000 steps. Pero yun, in the meantime, may pinost lang tayo kanina. Hinabol ko yung dapat pinost ko kagabi pero sobrang pagod tayo kagabi. Hindi ko na-post. Itong paghamon ni yung minamahal natin na ex-president na kunyaring private citizen na daw. Wala pang 2 minuto. Wala pang 2 minuto. Naka 5,000 views siya. I mean, so ito po ang talagang ito po yung dilemma natin sa ating minamahal na bayan, di ba? Pag ganito mga drama ng mga pamilya, mga family feud type na drama, mukhang hindi lang siya benta, bentang-benta talaga siya. So, eto naka 6 million views na tayo dun sa mga few videos na pinost lang natin, 3-4 lang sa about the ito mga back and forth between Marcos and all of that. And then yung mga pinost lang natin, pinaghirapan natin na 10,000 step, ayan, 2,000 lang yung views. I mean, hindi ko alam kung iyak na ako or hindi ko alam kung matatawa ako. But, well, salamat naman sa Diyos dahil nag-diversify naman tayo ng options. You know, we always have our ways to keep things together. Pero yun nga. Pag-usapan natin guys, ito. Unfortunately, as it stands, 'di ba? Dito talaga kitang-kita natin na dito talaga makikita natin na third world country talaga tayo. In fact, fourth world country masasabi ko. All right? Pag tinignan nyo yung mga maunlad na bayan, no? Ang pinag-usapan ay mga policy issues, ang pinag-usapan dito ang mga foreign policy issues, ang pinag-usapan dito yung mga yung mga ideological issues. Now, of course, sasabihin niya, paano naman si Donald Trump, 'di ba? But interestingly, even in the case of Donald Trump, guys, even in the case of Donald Trump, all right, alam natin na yung sumikat si Donald Trump dahil doon sa kanyang right-wing populism, doon sa issue ng immigration, doon sa issue ng fighting for the working class daw, 'di ba? Doon sa issue ng making America great again, yung kanyang assertiveness doon sa mga foreign policy issues. So, in fairness, for all of his narcissism, for all of his personalistic politics, for all of his kind of a authoritarian, populist, budding, questionable person kind of stuff, Donald Trump's movement, populist movement, is also based on some fundamental policy issues that appeals to a lot of libertarian, Republican, conservative folks. So kung kinumpara mo dito sa Pilipinas, we essentially have a Marcos and a Duterte, two of them jointly ruling this country. Now, jointly doesn't mean symmetrically. Of course, may imbalance dito mga kameta. But if you look at it, pag tinignan mo itong mga hidwaan na ito, increasingly, this is not looking like a fundamental policy difference. This is not looking like, mga kameta, isang malaking disagreement sa issue ng ideolohiya or direksyon ng bansa. This looks like a power play to me. This looks like a case whereby an ex-president cannot accept that they're no longer the dominant force in Philippine politics. And even more, may posibilidad na especially kung may development sa ICC or other important fronts, actually things could turn even more challenging for them, to put it nicely. Now, dahil hindi niya matanggap etong situation nila ngayon, although sinabi niya dun sa kanyang speech sa Davao na etong ayaw kong mangyari, ito yung tinatakutan ko, the realities, yung options niya are quite limited. And it's not also very clear kung saan ang position ni Sara Duterte. Kaya pag-usapan din natin yung speech ni Sara Duterte na very, very important. Okay? So now let's first start with Tatay Digong because ayan niya. I mean, ito yung interesting guys. So, itaas na natin itong mga uminit na naman tong panahon natin. Ito guys, kung kailan akala natin na there's a kind of a de-escalation dito sa situation ngayon, sa loob ng ex-unity, whatever you wanna call it, kung kailan lumabas ito si Senator Amy Marcos, na sinabi niya na, ayan, nag-apologize daw si Baste, wala nang issues. Hindi ko alam yung sinasabi ni Buljak TV, may ibang hanash na naman. Siyempre, kailangan nila ng engagement, diba? Bardagulan is good. No, ewan ko dyan sa mga Buljakan TV people na yan, but if you look at it, there were many efforts, including by the sister of the current president, to kind of de-escalate the situation. Although for me, questionable whether itong tao na ito is considered as a kind of a neutral character. Because as far as we know, Amy is more onto one side than the other side, right? Now, nevertheless, she has been trying to be the middle person, to be the intermediary. At nakikita natin ito sa kanyang mga interventions, statements, among others. Now, balikan muna natin to kasi as far as Tatay Digo is concerned, it looks like ayaw niya talaga tanggapin itong reality na yan. He's trying to defy it and he's going back to his populist antics. And tignan nyo naman guys, grabe naman yung speech ni Tatay Digong. This, you could see na annoyed talaga si BBM. You could see talaga na annoyed siya. You could see na medyo nagpakita siya ng konting but the fact of the matter is that as soon as President Marcos Jr. tried to focus on other issues nung pumunta siya sa Vietnam, yung nagpa-civil siya na friendly kay Sara Duterte, and sabi niya okay parang unity team. Ayan na naman si Tatay Digong, boom, attack na naman agad. So tingnan niyo naman guys, grabe naman ito yung report ng GMA Network.
Na isa publiko ng dating Pangulo ang kanyang pruweba sa akusasyong isa umanong drug addict si Marcos.
Bakit ko ipruba? It is for him to sit in the Luneta Park, pakuha siya ng dugo doon, independent entity o doktor, magpakuha rin ako, o sige, pati ako. Sila yan sa public office. May accusation sa iyo. Then you have to disprove it. It is not for me to prove it.
Sinabi yan ni Duterte sa isang press conference.
Wait lang guys, ulitin natin yan. Ulitin natin because very important. Again, once again, dito sa mga speech ni Tatay Digong, you can see na may mga lumulusot, diba? Naalala niyo dun sa isang speech highlights niya na ina-analyze natin. Yung 2-minute speech niya na-analyze natin ng isang oras. Kasi ang dami nangyari dyan. But let me go back to that. One of the interesting things dun sa 2-minute speech ni Tatay Digong was nung sinabi niya, andun ka sa listahan, pero dahil magkaibigan tayo, ay actually hindi nga tayo kaibigan. Dahil magkakilala lang tayo, essentially wala siyang ginawa. So umaamin siya na hindi siya, you know what I'm saying? Hindi niya ina-apply talaga yung batas kung dama yung mga kaibigan niya or mga tao na malapit sa kanya kahit hindi niya kaibigan. So that clearly means na walang rule of law. No, personalan lang yun. Arbitrary. Arbitrary lang niya yung application niya kanyang anti-drugs war. Kaya no wonder, walang nahuling totoong big fish. Okay. But here again, look at yung sasabihin ni Pangulong Duterte.
Davao City kagabi, tahasang
Ito
Magpakuha rin ako, o sige, pati ako. Sila yan sa public office. May accusation sa iyo. Then you have to disprove it. It is not for me to prove it.
It is not for me to prove it. You should disprove it automatically. Wait lang. Di ba abogado to? Alam niya actually it works the opposite. It's the complete opposite of that in a democratic system with rule of law. You cannot just accuse people and then put on them the burden of proof na they have to that's ridiculous. Unless proven na guilty ang isang tao, you are presumed to be innocent. It is not the other way around. Ano to? I'm not gonna say the name of the countries, pero alam niya ng mga bansa na sasabihin ko. You know, in only authoritarian countries, dictatorship, and non-democratic countries, the presumption of innocence is replaced by presumption of guilt. Na kung inakusa ka ng something, it's up to you to disprove that accusations. Never mind, sobrang ridiculous and baseless yung accusation. So dito nabubuking na naman yung style niya. So kitang-kita doon sa isang speech niya, umamin siya na arbitrary siya sa application ng kanyang drug list or whatever. Of course, di rin natin na, of course, as far as I know, walang basihan yung sinasabi niya because even yung mga authorities natin sa anti-drug agencies na yan, sinabi nila, wait lang, kung mayor ka, you're not gonna have an access state now. Knowing Tatay and his current, state of affairs, let's just put it nicely. I think he meant when he was the president, right? Mayor president. But still, so umamin ka na kahit nandun sa listahan, hindi mo i-actionan yan. So arbitrary lang dahil kaibigan mo lang siya. But this is even crazier.
Red ako, sige, pati ako. Sila yan sa public office. May accusation sa iyo.
May accusation sa'yo.
Then you have to disprove it. It is not for me to prove it.
Sinabi yan ni Duterte.
May accusation siya sa'yo. It is not for me to prove it. It is for you to disprove it. Do you see the implication of yung sinasabi niya ngayon? Do you see the implication? Na you can accuse anyone out there and then ilalagay mo sa kanya yung burden to disprove na yung accusation ay may basihan or hindi. That is not how democracy operates. You don't even need to be a lawyer. In fact, you don't even need to be literate, no, to know that, right? Na hindi ito applicable sa sistema po natin, sa isang demokrasya, sa isang modern society. Do you get what I'm saying here? Kaya nga sabi ko, alam ko, marami sa inyo natatawa lang sa mga speech na yan. Sinasabi, gano'n na. Sabi ng kasalukuyan na minamahal natin presidente. Yan, na-fentanyl na naman yan. But actually, if you analyze the speeches, umamin na talaga na arbitrary rule lang talagang style niya. He can just accuse you, bahala ka na mag-disprove sa kanya. And we know na yun yung nakakatakot talaga, guys, nung panahon ng drug war. Dahil kung sino-sino nandun sa drug list, or yung iba nga, wala pa nga sa drug list at kung ano-ano nangyayari sa kanila. 'Di ba? 'Di ba? Tapos ang mindset ng presidente mo ay it's not for me to disprove it. Ay, it's not for me to prove it. It's for you to disprove it. Kaya mga kameta, kung maalalin dun sa isang collab natin sa isang kaibigan natin na abogado, na may legitimate concerns kay Tulfo, mga Tulfos, ni-raise ko rin tong issue na ito. Sabi ko, okay, gets ko yung mga saan ka galing sa mga Tulfos. Pero look at Rodrigo Duterte. Look at when he was the president, look at how he is now, look at his track record, look at the available evidence. Parang, if we have a concern with rule of law, we have a concern with respect for due process, with the Tulfos, next level ito. Super next level ito. Diba? And then of course, there's the aspect of politics. Anong gusto niya mangyari? Ano bang gusto niya i-trigger si Pangulong Marcos Jr.? Where does he want this to go? Because kung ang assumption niya dito is si BBM ay sasabihin niya, okay, para hindi magalit yung isang diyan. Okay, sige, wag na natin yan. Wag na natin pa-ICC yan. Okay? Like, is this a kind of an intimidation tactic? Because last time I checked, it's actually not working. If anything, it's further pushing BBM to contemplate more decisive action. And the more na ma-reinforce itong posibilidad na papasok ang ICC dito at hindi lang ICC yung mga ibang bagay. So here you see a clear defiance of reality and at the same time, admission to certain dimensions of reality of his rule. Now, interesting, may speech din si Sara Duterte today. Tingnan, mahal na mahal ko kaya habang kung ano nung ginagawa natin, we're keeping up pa rin dito sa mga latest na pangyayari sa ating bayan. Sa kaka-check ko ng mga YouTube for political news, naka-algorithm na yata. Wait lang. Hindi, pero ito pinaghirapan natin, ni-research ko talaga yung mga yan. Now, punta naman tayo sa interesting din na to kasi si Sara Duterte naman, meron din siyang speech kanina kung saan she's essentially trying to split the difference, if I can put it, yung parang Chinese style, okay, let's look at this, okay? This is very interesting. And I really suggest you guys check this interview. Itong analysis by ANC. Now, let me tell you this way, I may be working for one of the television channels, but ako, solidarity ako. Right? I really hope that ANC continues its operation. They have world-class journalists and all. And at the same time, guys, may update pa kayo dun sa ano, sa TV5, sorry, CNN Philippines. Ang ang sinabi ay na-reboot na sila. Ano ba 'yan? Ano yung bagong version ng CNN? Sorry guys, pagod na ako. Ang haba ng araw na migraine tayo. Sobrang dami natin ginawa. Um, ano ulit yung bagong TV channel? And then may sasama din mga Itbulaga or something like that. So, anyway, nalungkot din ako, nalaman ko biglang nawala yung CNN Philippines pati yung mga website nila and all of that. Lahat ng pinaghirapan ng mga journalists. RPTV, yes. Maraming salamat. So let's look at it kasi syempre we're looking at the employment of many people. We're looking at many smart people out there. We're looking at many world-class journalists out there. I mean, my goodness, Rico Hizon, my good friend, just won back-to-back mga best hosting award in Asia, no? And there's so many other great journalists and friends there. So I want to watch now with ANC also, guys. Please watch ANC. Go on. Of course, watch din kayo sa akin, sa atin, sa mga colleagues ko, sa Signal TV, TV5. But please also continue kasi nawala yung Sky Cable ba yan or something like that, or yeah, RPTV. So I don't know, somewhere also wondering ano yung maging implication na ito sa ANC. So you know, out of spirit of solidarity, I'm also checking out what's happening with the other TV channels, etc. Yeah, yun nga, Jeff, na-shutdown yung CNN Philippines, but yun nga, tinitingnan nila if magkakaroon ng revival. Oh, yes, Ivan, salamat. Actually, I saw some good news na ABS-CBN is also hiring again. Sorry, tired, mahabang araw, but I got bits and pieces from different sides. Yes, indeed. Indeed, ABS-CBN is doing fine. But then again, you know, I'm just hoping we move forward in the right directions. All right. Okay. Anyway, of course, tayo naman tuloy-tuloy itong mga ginagawa natin sa social media, different platforms and all of that. But I'll tell you guys, there's still nothing like legit journalism. You go through the editorial process, you go through the proper training, you go through the everything talagang. Now, hindi ko sinasabi na pag nandito ako sa social media, hindi ko siniseryoso yung sinasabi ko. Pero of course, pag nandun tayo sa television or nandun, very disciplined kasi yan eh. Very strict yan. You have a whole team, right? Production talaga. So talagang ayos-ayosin mo yan, di ba? And within a certain hour, certain minute, you have to get everything going there. So, sobrang hirap siya. It's expensive to produce. Sobrang mahirap siya. So, guys, I know na madali lang na manood lang kayo ng mga social media stars dyan, mga influencers, bloggers. Naintindihan ko na it's much easier to develop personal affection for or a sense of sense of camaraderie even dun sa mga vloggers, 'di ba? Nakikita ko na marami nang mga nagfa-fan modes, mga sa mga nag-aircon level na nga, hindi lang fan nag-aircon level na dun sa ibang vloggers. But I hope you guys understand, 'di ba? Na as much as I'm happy that a lot of our good friends and colleagues are doing very well on social media and all, kaysa naman magbubuljakan lang tayo and all of that, sana we put those eyeballs and attention into legit journalism. Because ang worry ko talaga guys is kung tuloy-tuloy itong mga buljakan style ng vlogging, not only, well, I mean, kami naman siguro, ako, Christian, a lot of other, colleagues who are also active on social media, for us, okay, I think we feel confident na kaya namin tapatan yan in our own little ways. Yan, bardagulan and all of that. And, on Twitter, no match mga yan sa akin. Alright? Magsama pa sila, no match sila sa akin. But, yeah, sorry. But, But guys, please, once in a while, try to also go and check yung mga online na mga legit journalists and mga outlets dyan. It's just a little show of support. Alright? Please lang guys. It's just a few seconds of time. Kaysa manood kayo ng mga nonsense, kaysa manood kayo ng yung mga buljakan, yung mga ganyan. Manood kayo ng medyo matino. May matutunan pa tayo. Ako nga actually marami sa mga materials ko. Today nga lang, yung dalawang nahanap ko magandang videos. One is from GMA Network where I used to work. Fantastic reporting, great people there, great ex-colleagues there. And the other one is from ASC, ABS-CBN, which also where I used to work. So, todo support. Oh, sige, ayaw mo sa mga pseudo-vloggers, pero manood naman kayo at least ng mga legit, Oo, tapos na si tatay. Oo. Pero okay lang, sige lang. Tuloy-tuloy naman ang supportan niyo sa akin, 'di ba? Kulang tayo sabay ganun. No, anyway, let's go back to this. Hindi ko pala na-upload. Hindi pala na-send sa akin dito, guys. Sorry. Let me send it here. Ay, hindi. Actually, I wanted to show it straight from ANC na lang. Ito.
Sara Duterte expresses her solidarity with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. despite the verbal attacks of her father and brother against him. She also thanked Marcos for maintaining his trust and confidence in her. Her statement followed demands by her critics for her to resign as concurrent education secretary.
Ito.
The vice president says she respects the views of her father and brothers, even if she doesn't always agree with them.
Okay, look at how interesting her speech is.
Ang paggalang ay isang natatanging asal na ipinakita ng Pangulo sa ating lahat. Kung kaya't galangin din sana natin ang opinyon at paniniwala ng ibang tao. Kasama na ang ating mga kamag-anak. May respeto ako sa mga pananaw at opinyon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, pati na ng aking mga kapatid. Ngunit katulad ng posisyon ko sa maraming mga isyu, hindi kailangan na sumasang-ayon ako sa lahat ng mga ito. Para sa akin, laging nangunguna ang katapatan ko sa paglilingkod sa bayan. Uunahin ko ang edukasyon ng ating kabataan at kapayapaan ng bayan.
Interesting, no? So
President Marcos earlier said he will keep.
clearly,
Vice President Sara, she also thanked Marcos for.
so that's an interesting thing. It's like kind of having the cake and eat it too, kind of splitting the difference. So isang banda, in-emphasize yung kanyang paggalang sa kanyang ama, sa dating presidente, etc. Pero at the same time, parang sinasabi niya, hindi na, I mean, what does that mean? Na agree ka dun sa mga accusation laban kay BBM? Diba? Hindi, parang sinasabi niya dito is, pero yun nga okay, I think what's happening here is nire-recognize niya na talagang malakas pa rin yung tatay niya. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really the Duterte name. Let's be brutally honest. Do you think that, certain people would have been where they are today if not for their family name or sino yung mga tatay nila? Now, ibang usapan na kung yung kanilang mga ama ay manggagaling na president or hindi or worst ever. Ibang usapan yan. But for the sake of argument, there's an expression of gratitude there, and actually there's an effort to make sure na, so in effect, Sarah is like now the bridge, right? Because on one hand, parang she's trying not to burn bridges with both sides, while two sides, or at least one side, is constantly attacking the other side. So, ipit talaga dito si Sarah. And I think this is her way of trying to, yes, play it safe and at the same time have a calibrated distance with both sides. Ang hindi ko alam dito is wala tayong intelligence yan. At, sorry, I have more important things to do, like thinking about mga great power politics, mga ganun. But anyway, behind the scenes, probably Sarah is reassuring BBM na, ganyan talaga siya, anong masasabi natin, ganyan, but I cannot, pamilya ko yan, ganyan, Duterte yan, ganyan, but don't worry, I'm not against you and all of that. But this is also where it's important. Remember yung nangyari yung pre-departure ni BBM na si First Lady ay dumiretso lang, diba? Dumiretso lang siya, tapos di na siya nag hello or hi. So, I'm sure there are also people in the camp of BBM who are saying, hey, like at some point you have to draw the line and at some point you have to make it clear saan ka ba talaga. Kasi ulitin natin analyze ulit natin tong speech na to kasi I know what she's trying to do. Alright? But still, medyo diba? Walahin mo itong hotel natin na mas maganda.
Vice President Sara Duterte expresses her solidarity with President Ferdinand Marcos. Her statement followed and brothers.
Sa ating lahat. Kung kaya't galangin din sana natin
Okay,
ang
galangin
opinyon
natin.
at paniniwala ng ibang tao. Kasama na ang ating mga kamag-anak.
So I respect your
May
opinion,
respeto
but I don't.
ako sa mga pananaw at opinyon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, pati na ng aking mga kapatid. Ngunit katulad ng posisyon ko sa maraming mga isyu, hindi kailangan na sumasang-ayon ako sa lahat ng mga ito. Para sa akin, laging nangunguna ang katapatan ko sa paglilingkod sa bayan. Uunahin ko ang edukasyon ng ating kabataan at kapayapaan ng bayan.
President.
Sa tingin ko dapat na-spell out dapat dito. Kung talagang ulitin natin look at, it's not like Digong is saying I disagree with BBM's foreign policy. It's not like Digong is saying we could do things better. I mean, my goodness, look at what Digong is doing.
Sige, pati ako. Sila yan.
Diba? I mean, he's openly accusing the incumbent president of engaging something illegal. And, but in effect,
Magpakuha rin ako. Sige, pati ako. Sila yan sa
in effect,
public office.
kine-question niya yung judgment,
May
competence,
accusations
and
sa
even
iyo.
the constitutionality.
Then you have to disprove it. It is not for me to prove it.
Sinabi yan ni Duterte sa
Ayun,
isang press
ayun, ayan na naman tayo sa mga troll natin. Anong taon na po? 2020, literally 20, oh my God, 2024 na pala, no? 2024 na po, yung inyong mga post pang 2016 pa rin, iPhone 1 pa rin kayo, Diyos ko naman. Kaya palang baba ng bayad sa inyo kasi hanggang dyan lang yung kakayahan nyo. Okay, now, very interestingly, what we're also seeing here is that, so Sara Duterte kinda in a Sara Duterte way, kind of tried to distance herself and kind of tried to keep the unit team together while she has not tried to openly call out itong, alam mo, kung tingin yung bias at dilawan tong analysis nito, di doon na kayo sa Buljak TV. Parang pag-isip nyo hanggang hanggang babuljakan lang kayo dyan. Ang pangit pakinggan talaga yung Buljak. I mean, I'm sorry guys, like the first time I heard Buljak talagang, it sounds so wrong. Parang, wait lang, I had to even Google and double check. Does it mean what I think it means or what? Anyway, balikan natin ito. Okay, bago itong mga mokong dyan na nagugulo dyan sa TikTok natin. Ito. Malapit na rin, alam mo guys, 10 years na tayo binubuli, gusto tayong bully ng mga trolls na. Actually, no match na sila. So, sa YouTube, sa Facebook, sa Twitter, wala. Huwag mag-troll kayo sa akin. Malapit na tayo maging ganyan din sa TikTok. Alright? Okay, malapit na. Okay. Wala na naman sila ng pagkakakitaan. Now, one of the interesting thing actually we're also seeing over the past 48 hours, alright? Past 48 hours is that other Mindanao leaders are also coming out and essentially pushing back against Digong, right? And in fact, I encourage check also some of the tweets of Ivan, which I also Ivan the Good, hindi Ivan the Terrible. Ito. Alright, so this is a very important one. Mga top house leaders, especially ito Congressman Manix Dalipe, no? Siya po yung House Majority Leader sa Kongreso at Zamboanga City 2nd District. Sila po ay lumalabas na ngayon na kine-question itong position ni Digong, whether on the separation of Mindanao, whether dito sa kanyang pang lait-lait dito sa Chacha, sa PI, lahat yung kanyang literally pag PI niya sa PI. So now very interesting, you have Mindanao based leaders, top leaders, no, including Congressman Dapite coming out and essentially pushing back against Digong. And the message is very clear. The message is that Digong is not Mindanao. Digong is not the president. Digong doesn't represent Mindanao. And in the meantime, siguro, Davao or at least some parts of Davao. I think that's why importante na andun si Alvarez. Dahil si Governor Alvarez, by being next to next with the mayor of Davao and former President Duterte, kind of gave an impression na there's a certain degree of uniteam in Davao. But itong push for separation from Mindanao, which some would openly, categorize as an incitement to rebellion and a highly, highly criminal act, if anyone who really cares about having, wala sorry, banana republic tayo ng konti, aminin natin. If you did it in another country, there'll be a different kind of response. But anyway, sabihin natin, okay, sige, nagkakaren lang siya, okay? And yun nga, sa kakakaren niya, lumalabas na yung mga ibang leaders. At in-express na nila yung kanilang inis dito. Na, wait lang. You don't speak for entire Mindanao. You're no longer the president. And magpakita ka naman ng respeto sa mga ibang Mindanao leaders because we want to hear them. Now, interestingly, just as I said, we have to also listen to, folks from other region. Ay, shucks, I just realized pala. Baka magkaroon tayo ng copyright issue, no? Yung effort ko na magpakita ng support sa ibang channel, baka yun ang problema kasi kina-copyright, baka magka-copyright issue na yan. So, anyway, I suggest you guys, okay, ipopost ko na lang yung link na yan. This is a very important interview.
Former president and
Ito naman from mga Bangsamoro naman. Oh.
National Liberation Front is concerned,
Ito.
there are things that I think are being looked upon, beyond right now, yung hindi nakikita, no? What I'm telling, and this has been what I'm telling to a lot of people here, that in fact, there is now an opportunity here in the call for charter change to entrench the Bangsamoro in the 1987 Constitution. And that is part of the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro. And as far as the Moro National Liberation Front is concerned, we have agreed to join in this transition government because we believe that the CAB can implement the 1976 Triple Agreement and the 1996 Final Peace Agreement. So, and we fully agree, we fully support that provision in the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro to entrench the Bangsamoro in the 1987
So
Constitution. Because this,
So I'm sorry to cut you
So,
short.
so in short,
So it's speaker.
that's one point that they can speak for the Mindanao.
so in short, I mean, I'll send you guys the link. You also have the Bangsamoro leaders. You have folks from Zamboanga. You have folks from different parts of Mindanao na hindi Davao. And now also folks from Bangsamoro openly coming out and saying, no, we are sticking with the 1997 Constitution. In fact, I want you also guys to check yung interesting interview ni Amy Marcos also about dito sa issue ng 1987 Constitution. And dito, very, very clearly, guys, very clearly, sinasabi ni Amy Marcos na hindi lang siya, pero yung kapatid niya behind the scenes, aminado siya na itong issue ng church, etc. Wait lang. Ayan, nagets ko na. No. But what I'm saying is, all the major power brokers, in one way or another, suggesting that either they're invested in the 1987 Constitution or they're for partial charter change or something like that. But the idea of rebellion and separating from the Philippines, secession, disintegration of the integrity of the Philippine Republic, ayan na nga nung naging presidente, wala namang ginawang, hindi naman lumaban para sa West Philippines. Ngayon, gusto humiwalay pa, kinakaren pa nung iba, kinukuha pa ng Palawan na hindi kasama. Ngayon, base sa mga responses ng Bangsamoro, mga taga-Zambonga, taga-iba't ibang lugar sa Mindanao, ang pinapakita dito is, ba't yung mga ibang Mindanao is, wait lang, ba't nyo sinama? Ba't yung buong Mindanao? Ba't nyo sinama? Siyempre, yung Palawan, parang, hindi na natin i-dignify ito. Fentanyl to. So, dito na, kita na natin, na-isolated talaga. So, siguro ang dapat pag-usapan ngayon ay, I don't know, Davao Republic kung gusto niya. But as far as Sara Duterte is concerned, sabi niya, she's gonna stay in the government, she's gonna serve as a vice president per mandate, and BBM has made it clear that he will keep her as his education secretary. So far, ewan ko, gusto nilang magsariling sikap dyan, bahala sila. Now, again, uulitin ko tong part na to, itong whole argument about Mindanao secession. So, na-establish mo natin dito na walang suporta itong secession arguments ni Tatay from all other major power brokers in entire Mindanao. Davao is not Mindanao. And the former president is not the president. He's just a private citizen. And just having one or two person from Davao region with him doesn't mean that the whole Mindanao was with him. The fact that wala yung mga ibang power brokers from Mindanao, from Bangsamoro, from Zamboanga, from Marawi, etc., it tells you a lot about the fact that this is an isolated statement of discontent, or this is probably just a power player, whatever. Or some would say, sabi ni Pangulo natin, baka nasobra ng fentanyl. I don't know. Okay? I don't want to get into that. Sabi ko nga, sa ating sistema, Alright? You are presumed to be innocent until proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Ayan yan. Nasa batas po natin, nasa constitution po natin yan. This is how normal normal societies, modern societies operate. Again, ulitin ko dun sa mga hindi nanonood sa atin, yung mga gusto maghiwalay sa Metro Manila, I'll tell you what. Okay? I'll absolutely tell you what. Alright? I'll absolutely tell you what. Actually, marami sa mga taga Manila, if tinignan nyo talaga yung datos, ang mangyari dito is actually matutuwa. Baka yung mga ibang taxpayers sa Metro Manila because kung tinignan mo ang revenue collection, alright, halos a huge chunk of our entire revenue base comes from Imperial Manila. Alright? And let me be absolutely clear. As a Baguio boy, naintindihan ko yung inis ng tao sa mga Manila people, yung yabang nila. Gets ko yan. Alright? Kaya ako pag nasa Davao ako, I genuinely can relate to that idea na hindi lang Manila ang dito, hari dito. Lahat. Gets ko yan. Sa Cebu, ganun din. Alright? Although mas mild ang mga taga Cebu kumpara sa amin mga Baguio or Davao. Gets ko yung sentimento. Okay? I understand the sentiment. But sentiments are useless when you talk about data, evidence, and reality of governance. The reality of governance, guys, again, salamat din kay Sir Ivan for sharing this, is that the bulk of the revenues of these countries come from Metro Manila, alright? And NCR region. Tingnan niyo naman yung rankings, guys. Nasaan ang Davao dito? Number 1, National Capital Region. 84%. Oh my God, it's even worse than I thought. 84% ang National Capital Region. 84%, guys. 84%. Alright? So I'm talking to you based on data and evidence. I'll post it that. This is by PCIJ. Salamat Sir Ivan for sending me also the. So 84%, actually almost 84.24% comes from NCR. Calabarzon, 3.6%. Central Luzon, 2.3%. Central Visayas, 1.8%. Davao region as a whole, 1%. Davao region as a whole, 1%. Now, madali lang gawin yan. The next question I'll ask is, ano yung share ng population ng Davao region as a population of the Philippines? And then, kumpara nyo ito dun sa 1% lang yung contribution of revenues base dito. And then, alam natin pagdating sa NCR, we are around a third. We are around third of the population of the Philippines. But in terms of our revenue contribution, it's more than half. At least based on this data, 80%. My understanding was probably something closer to 55 to 60%. This is another one data that I was showing you the other day. So, kitang-kita dito. Total expenses versus total revenue. NCR is the region which generates much of the expenses and revenues. This is based on electricity, gas, steam, and air conditioning supply section by region. Kitang-kita natin na ang NCR po ay may surplus. So the NCR is actually not only generating a bulk of revenues of the country, the bulk of economic activity, but is actually effectively also sending money, subsidizing the other regions. Now, dito, actually, agree ako sa sentimento ng ating mga kapatid galing sa Mindanao and Visayas. I'll repeat this again. Yung ating mga kapatid dyan sa Mindanao and Visayas, the reason why you're not feeling itong subsidies coming from Imperial Manila, itong tulong galing sa Imperial Manila is because the political dynasties, the warlords and trapos in those regions, your regions unfortunately, are the ones who are gobbling up. In fact, ang daming pag-aaral dyan na pinapakita, hindi ginagamit sa tama yung mga LGUs sa ibang lugar, yung sarili nilang revenues na gine-generate para sa sarili nila na hindi nila nire-remit sa national government. There are a lot of studies that I can show you there. Okay? So, I can go on and on about it. Okay, gusto nyo tignan yung pinost ni meron din ang sub-study by Davao region. I can also post you guys. So, ganon kasimple lang mangyari guys. Kung nagsariling sikap yung iba dyan, ito yung study, Okay, ito yung studies isa natin. Kung nagsariling sikap yung ibang region dyan, kung nanghiwalay sila, well, make sure you can raise enough revenues on your own and make sure hindi pupunta sa ibang lugar na lang yung mga best and brightest nyo dahil, so you get what I'm saying, alright? So, this is an interesting one. This is the Davao region, the revenues and of that. So, the reality is, currently, hindi nagsispread ng development dahil yung mga trapos and warlords, ginagobble up nila both the revenues they generate and keep for themselves and the subsidies, de facto subsidy comes from national government. In a situation of total federalism or secession, whatever, lalong lalala itong problema ng inequality. Lalong lalala itong problema ng inequality. Right? This is the reality that we have to keep in mind. Alright? Yes, of course, I said NCR as a share of the population of the countries is right, just over 30%. In terms of revenue generation is 80+%. So that means more than twice, almost 2.5, more than twice yung contribution ng isang average NCR person dun sa national revenue sana. Just do the basic math. Alright? Anyway, so I'll post this report para you guys, you can see it on your own. So in short, itong Mindanao secession doesn't have the support of other power brokers outside Davao or Duterte people. B, well, even Sara Duterte, I'm not sure she supports that. As she said, clearly she's serving under 1997 Constitution. She'll continue to serve under the current administration. So even si Sara, dumistansya dyan. B, actually, secession or federalism will not make the situation better. It could make it worse because yun nga sobrang liit yung nire-raise ng mga ibang LGUs in terms of their own expenses. So for me, ideally, let me go to the last point I want to say here. I want more devolution. I want more power to LGUs. But I really want more power to people in the LGUs, to the civil society in the LGUs, to the ordinary folks in the LGUs, to the bright young people in the LGUs, not to the trapos, not to the political dynasties. Yun yung kailangan natin. So, obligasyon natin sa NCR, obligasyon natin sa more developed parts of the country is to strengthen, empower people in Mindanao, not politicos. Because yun po yung masaklap sa atin. Yung pinapa-empower ng national government ay mga warlords, mga dynasties. Dapat ang strengthen po natin is yung mga people. And doing that means institutional reform. Doing that means giving more scholarship and subsidies and support diretso sa mga tao sa Mindanao, diretso sa mga tao sa Visayas, sa mga regions who are not getting those kinds of support. So yun talagang kailangan natin dito. And lastly, let me end on this point mga kameta. This is very, very important. We will remain a fourth world country, a banana republic, until we learn to go beyond just buljak level, family feud, drama, drug test drama. Ganyan level lang yung pag ganyan level ng politika natin. Now, I'm telling you this as someone who got millions of views, hindi monetize yung Instagram, among others, dun sa mga ibang platforms natin, when I posted things about etong mga family feud and drama na yan. So I'm saying this as someone who actually was able to reach way more people than usual by covering itong latest drama na ito. But having said that, I truly, truly hope that the day comes where we can sit down and have a substantive, policy-oriented discussion. And pag pumipili tayo dun sa ating mga leaders, sana, ang basihan po natin is whether hindi nagfe-fentanyl, hindi nagko-coke, hindi nagkakalat, nagsabog, magsalita or whatever. Hindi, talaga may kakayahan. May alam sa sinasabi niya. Someone respectable and someone who can make us proud of who we are as Filipino people. No matter where you come from, Visayas, Luzon, Mindanao, Palawan, by the way, separate yung Palawan sa Mindanao just in case nakalimutan ng iba. At sana magkakaroon tayo ng isang kultura kung saan yung mga walang kwentang mga trolls dyan na nangiinsulto lang sa atin, yung mga ganyan na yan, they will be Actually, sinabi ng kaibigan ko, kasi lumipat ako ng hotel eh. Nung first few days, nandun tayo sa social na hotel. Siyempre, ano, di ba? Conference, ganun, ganun. Tapos lumipat ako dun sa medyo mas murang lugar. Sabi niya, nako, bakit ka nandun? Puro mga gangster lang yan dati. Sabi niya, so, ano, baka naman may sasabihin tayong gangster dyan. Okay, okay. Anyway, guys, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga sumusuporta sa atin, including sa mga trolls na nagpapataas ng engagement natin. But don't worry, I'm gonna call you out once in a while. No, it's because the reason I'm calling you out, guys, once in a while is because I want to make it clear. Leadership is also about making sure na you don't let nonsense, donkey stuff slide. All right, I cannot control, some idiots or people making idiotic comments. Hindi ko makontrol yan. Sorry for saying that. But I just want to tell you guys that as much as we love trolls, what we love even more than trolls is having intelligent, patriotic discussions. At yun po yung gusto natin mangyari dito. On that note, thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nagmamahal sa atin, sumusuporta sa atin, nakikinig sa atin. Tuloy-tuloy lang itong mga analysis na ito, and there's so much more to discuss. So, hopefully, we'll have more like what we had kanina. Show data, show evidence, boom. Walang kwenta yung sinasabi ng tatay. Surprise, surprise. Guess what? I've been saying that since 2015. Alright? Okay. Sinong ano dyan? Oh, bahala kayo dyan sa buhay nyo. Gusto nyo ng kulto-kulto, buljakan, fanaticism. Bahala kayo dyan. Hanggang fourth world lang kayo. Alright? Hanggang fourth world lang kayo. Pero yung mga ibang mga kasama natin na gusto yung ating bansa natin, kahit pa paano, mag-second world naman tayo. No, I'm just kidding. Medyo maging legit middle class society tayo. Tuloy-tuloy lang sana itong mga klaseng discussion na yan. Alright? On that note, thank you very much. Arigato. Okay. Mase. Okay, alright guys. Talk to you soon. Maraming salamat. God bless.